What is almost as disturbing is how the right wing is attempting to spin this. And this is not, this is just, let's play this clip. This is Greg Gutfeld from Fox News' The Five. When was this? Was this on Friday? He said this?
Friday, yeah.
And the reason why we're talking this one, but we could find like another dozen right-wing talkers who were talking about this in this way, where it's as if Donald Trump purposely got COVID as a way of, I guess, teaching people that if you are the president and you have access to literally some of the greatest medical care in the world, expense is not an issue. Access is not an issue, and you can be granted any experimental treatments, then maybe you'll be okay. I guess that's the lesson. But here's Greg Gutfeld expressing what apparently conservatives believe, Republicans believe about Donald Trump catching coronavirus.
Yeah, and I think, to the point about the script being flipped, the reason why it flipped, and maybe it's a flaw of Trump, is that he didn't hide from the virus. And the reason why he didn't hide from the virus is he didn't want America to hide from the virus. If he was going to ask America to get back to work, right? To get back to work and experience a risk, he was going to do the same thing. He was going to walk out there on that battlefield with you and not sit somewhere in a basement and tell you how you got to get back to work, but not go out himself. So I think he put himself on the line. And the flaw being that as an optimist, as somebody who's trying to convey a message that we're going to get through this and things are going to be better, he had to walk that walk. He had to do that. He could have scared the crap out of everybody, but he refused, and it goes back to his original point about trying to make sure the positive attitude is maintained along with a sense of concern. So he took the risk. He got the virus. But it was because he was doing it for us.
This is a difficult moment, and we just want to, again, reiterate our best wishes to him. But he is a man who was very clear in saying that this was going to disappear magically.
There he is. He's got it. Who is that was talking to him at the end? Is that Juan Gonzalez?
Juan Williams.
Juan Williams.
Not the baseball player.
Oh, sorry. Juan Williams. I don't watch The Five that often, but I guess he's there to just basically say, Greg, you're acting like a crazy person. First off, the metaphor sort of breaks down, doesn't it, a little bit? Like it's basically like I'm going to become a disease vector with you. Right. Like it's one thing for him to go out and about and let's say like I'm going to go and treat patients. I'm going to obviously take the most reasonable and sensible precautions, but I'm putting myself in danger. That's not what he's doing. He's putting other people in danger. He's putting other people in danger. His mask was to be worn to protect other people. You could go out there and wear a mask. Very tough argument to make by Greg Gutfeld on the day when the president is getting supplemental oxygen and Joe Biden is just starting to campaign. It's going out there. He's basically the idea that Donald Trump was doing this because he would not ask Americans to do anything that he wouldn't do is just, it's bizarre. I mean, we've heard on multiple occasions when people ask Donald Trump, why aren't you wearing a mask? He's like, everyone here is tested. Nobody gets near me unless they're tested. Now, the fact that they were wrong, that they're both incompetent, their ideas are ill-conceived, and they're incompetent in executing them, that is not to Donald Trump's credit. But the fact remains is that Donald Trump wasn't doing anything that the normal American needs to do if they're forced to go to work under these circumstances. He was making sure that every single person around him was supposedly tested. It's just that their testing protocol is not enough. There is no testing protocol that is sufficient, that you don't need to use any safeguards. But he still had those protocols. Remember, the analogy would work if every single American who was forced to go back to work was getting tested and the people around them were being tested with the frequency that people at the White House were. But again, it shows also that that's not enough. Hope Hicks tested negative on one day, positive on the next day. We don't know if she got it if she's the one who gave it to Donald Trump or she's the one who initiated at the super spreader event. We may never know because of how much the White House is refusing to release any information. But the bottom line is that is both a laughable defense of the president and a sad one, and also just as detrimental as everything else that they've been doing. And they're trying to make it like, Donald Trump's a warrior on a battlefield. Well, the implications of actually not going out there. Every decision that has been made in terms of like salvaging the economy, there have been other choices that our government, the president, our society could make. We don't have to force people to go to work in a pandemic. We could be providing resources for people to stay at home. We could be controlling the infection rate so that sending kids to school does not represent a danger because the infection rate has been contained within the community. But to do that, you just simply have to make the decision that, we're going to support the economy. We did this for corporations. We could do it for actual individuals. The stock market is flying high because the corporations have an open spigot from the Fed, backed by the Treasury. We could do that for individuals. We could do that for people who are being forced to go to work. We could do that to support, bars and restaurants. We'd make it all takeout. But we're not going to do that. Here is that guy, Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is like one of the highest rated people on Facebook, right? I mean, like when they make lists of stuff that's being traded around. Now, he was supported by the NRA for an extended period of time. I don't know who his benefactors are now.
Yeah, it's weird his talent wasn't enough to do anything for the NRA, and yet he's still one of the most shared people on Facebook.
One wonders, where you get that type of infrastructure, that type of support. I mean, it takes that, right? I mean, it takes maybe advertising dollars. I don't know. It's shocking because I don't think most people know who he is for someone to be that well traveled on Facebook. But who knows? Here he is trying to respond to the fact that doctors, some at Walter Reed, were just horrified at the idea that Donald Trump would basically put a bunch of Secret Service people, officers or people who protect him, in a hermetically sealed vehicle, as he is still contagious. And here's Dan Bongino explaining why that's okay.
I did hear someone say, we don't even know the situation of those Secret Service individuals. They might have already had COVID, or maybe there's plexiglass in between the front seat and the back seat, like all the New York City taxi cabs and Ubers.
Well, Ainsley, God forbid, like you're actually asking sensible questions. I don't expect that of these media buffoons who have the spines of a jellyfish to be commenting on the risk they're in. Again, I don't remember any of those stories when we took knowing risks. You know, when I was over in Afghanistan with Obama and we had to turn the lights out for Air Force One so we didn't get hit with IDF mortar fire. Remember that story? Yeah, nobody else does either. Because we don't talk about it. That's what we do. And everyone else in the media commenting, all of a sudden they're using this story to bash Trump, and it's disgusting.
All right. So let me get this straight. The president going over to show support and maybe to negotiate. I'm not sure exactly what Bongino is referring to. I think it was maybe to negotiate sort of some type of exit from Afghanistan, or at least a drawdown. Engaging in diplomacy where there are military personnel engaging in war. The risks associated with that are justified in the same way that when the president wants to go out and wave to supporters while he's infecting people in a car, those are the same. I mean, it's quite possible the Secret Service members have the antibodies in that car. Announce it then. Let people know. Why wouldn't you tell people that? If that was the case, why wouldn't you tell people? Just to know the president would never willingly or willfully endanger anyone else with the COVID. Having gone through having to receive oxygen himself, he knows how difficult this is. Therefore, we only have Secret Service members who are COVID antibody positive. Or we have these mechanisms. I mean, did we miss that report? We must have. But this is the president risking, very possibly, risking the lives of those Secret Service members in the same way that his administration has been risking the lives of millions of Americans. He's got an agenda, and everything else is going to conform to it. And he's confident he'll turn out okay at the end of the day because he has access to the best possible health care that exists in the world. Right? I mean, absolutely nuts. I want to get